Alright, hello once again. This is Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College. And as part of the Rankin Technical College EWD, or Application and Website Development Program, and in particular the EWD 1111 or .NET Framework with Web Databases class, am creating a series of video presentations based on the book that will be used for this class for the fall 2019 semester. As you can see on screen, the book is Pro-ASP.NET MVC 5. It's an A-Press book by Adam Freeman. So far, as we look through the table of contents, on this first page here, these 18 chapters, I have gone through all 18 with the exception of chapter 13, which I went through but had problems. And then on the second page, I've done 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24, which means other than chapter 13, I've got 25, 26, and 27 left. So I'm going to do chapter 25 right now, which is on model validation. So I'm on the bottom of page 709 in the book. And the author mentions here in the previous chapter we showed how the MVC framework creates model objects from HTTP requests through the model binding process. Throughout the chapter I worked on the basis that the user was supplied valid data. In reality, that's not always the case, and you can't always trust that the data that you're going to get from a user will be valid. It may be invalid on purpose, or accidental, or left off, or whatever. So in this chapter, we're going to talk about model validation. And as the author says right here, model validation is the process of ensuring that data received by the application is suitable for binding to the model. And when this is not the case, for providing useful information to the user that will explain to him or her what the problem is. First part of the process is on checking data received. All right, so we're going to do that first. After we do that, the second part will be helping the user correct any problems that she or he might have with data, which, as the author says, is equally important. So here's a quick little summary of what we'll be covering. And let's get started. So for this example, we're going to have a new project called Model Validation. So let's start up Visual Studio, create a new project, our old friend ASP.NET web application, again Model Validation. And this will be, the name of the solution will be Chapter 25. Push me back to that source repos. All right, back to my desktop. Empty, but with the MVC folder structure. Let's create. All right, so the first thing we're told is that we're going to come in here and add a class into the models folder called appointment.cs. As always, we'll remove the boilerplate code that comes with this and put in our own. So what do we have here? Well, a key takeaway is you're going to be using this using statement, no pun intended, but system.componentModel.data annotations, to annotate or put stuff up here to let the system know what kind of data you're working with in here. Now, right now, the only thing we have is the fact that date time is going to be of type date. As of right now, none of these fields are required, and we can put in basically anything for a client name of any size. The date must be a valid date, and the terms accepted, since it's a bool, true and false. Okay? So the appointment model defines 3 properties, and we've used the date time type to indicate that the date property should be expressed as a date without a time component. We're also going to create a home controller, it looks like, and put in contents that you see right here. So as always, again, we'll remove this boilerplate code that's going to come in here, replace it with our own. All right. So what do we have? We've got, instead of index, we've got here make booking. All right. And you'll notice that we've got both a get version and a post version. The one that's of most interest to us, as it says there, is the post attribute, or the post where it's been applied, since this is the version where model binding will be used to construct an appointment object. Notice I've added a comment to indicate where, in a real application, statements would be placed to store the details of an appointment. I'm not going to create a repository because we want to focus here on the model binding and on the data validation. But as the author says, it's important to bear in mind that the main reason to validate data to begin with is to prevent bad or meaningless, to validate a model, data being placed inside of a repository and causing problems. All right. So we need a views shared folder and an underscore layout.cshtml. So views, we do not look like we have a shared folder in there. Remember that when we add that file, all right, that underscore layout, okay, .cshtml, that'll be the file that by default is going to be, it's going to be our shared, it's under the shared folder. So unless told otherwise, it's the way that every page is going to look, or the way that every page is going to be set up, or whatever you want to say. Well, I think I did something there I shouldn't have. So, let me do this. In fact, I don't even need to do that, but I'm going to remove this layout file. I'll show you why in just a second, okay? I'm going to, again, right mouse click, add, underscore layouts, and I don't want that as a partial view. I don't think I do. All right, and add, and put in this. We also created the view start file. Well, that got created for us automatically, so we're going to put in this inside of there. Probably is in there already, to be honest with you. View shared underscore layout looks good to me. To complete the preparation, we're creating 2 views to support the action method, both of which are located in the views home folder. In listing 25.5, we can see the make booking.cshtml. which contains a form to allow the user to create a new appointment. So under our home, we're going to add a view that's going to be called Make Booking. All right. Okay. We're going to put that in it. And when the form is posted back to the application, the Make Booking action method displays the details. Okay, so we need a completed .cs HTML file when we're done. Alright, so we've got that. Let's just do a file save all. We haven't saved yet, I don't believe. So, as you may have gathered, the example for this chapter is based around booking appointments. You can see how it works by starting the application, navigating over to the home booking URL. Okay. Let's, as we have done, go to Project, Properties, go to Web, and click Specific Page. Close that. Oops, that was the wrong one. There it is. Alright, so let's run it. And again, as the author says, iterate over to the /home/booking page. Well, what doesn't it like? Make booking. Okay, so we get a date picker here. Yes, we do. Let's say I'm going to make an appointment for June 21st. And I'll accept the conditions, and I'll click Make Booking. And you can see it. There we go. Didn't ask for a time or anything. Look good, though. As it stands, the application will accept any data the user submits. To preserve the integrity of the application and domain model, we need three things to be true before we know the user has provided an acceptable appointment object. Number one, you must provide a name. Number two, you must provide a date that's in the future. Number three, you must have checked that you accept the terms and conditions. Model validation is the process of enforcing these requirements. In the following sections, the author will show how different techniques are available for checking the data the user has provided and giving the user feedback when somehow something is in error. So that's a good place to stop. Again, I'm on page 713. And we'll pick it up with explicitly validating a model in our next lesson.